this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is episode 102 of the Sophie Art Podcast, which is a little podcast that I do about the art and things. And this one is going to be all about distractions. It's going to be all about distractions because this past week it's been a really difficult week, and I've been completely distracted. So I'm going to talk about it and just basically talk. I've got four little things to talk about linked to this distraction thing. The first word is gaming. The second thing is multiple devices. The next thing is art desk. And the final thing is associations. So that's a little thing. That's all I've got for my notes. I'm just going to sort of make it up as I go along. But it's because it's right in my brain at the minute. So I kind of want to talk about it. And I think it's quite important to talk about it, these distractions. We've got little superstar co-host, little Dennis, with us today. He'll be starting it in a minute. And what I'm going to also do is I've got a little website. I found a little article on a website which has actually got this week's inspirational quote in it. And it's on the website Steermint. It's STEEMIT. In this little article called "Starve Your Distractions, Feed Your Focus in Order to Attain Maximum Success." So I'm going to go through that little article in a minute. I haven't actually read it properly. I just saw a couple of little quotes on it and I thought I like this. So I'm going to read it and talk about it as I'm going through it. And that's basically going to be what this episode is about. You can find show notes and everything at sophielawson.com. And I'll have a link to that little article. And you can also find this as a video on YouTube at youtube.com/SophieLawson. And that's really it. Little Dennis has decided it's time to go. So let's get into this little article. So what should I do first? I think I'm going to read this article first. A little blog post thing. So I'll read that and then I'll go through my little note things. So it says here, the title is "Starve Your Distractions, Feed Your Focus in order to attain maximum success." And like I said, it's on the website Steermint, which looks quite cool. They got a cool little logo. Looks like a little man with a head sort of thing. It's quite cool. Looks a little bit like the yin and yang symbol, but as a man's head. It's quite cool, I think. So it says, this is what the article says. It says, procuring success in life is what is important to every man/woman. Whoosh. Trying to achieve what you didn't achieve the previous year is possible, and at the same time difficult. Your plans and goals are what makes it simple. Yes, for sure, roadblocks and temptation will be encountered before achieving a goal, but keeping to the word and focus is what makes you your... Hey, there's a spelling mistake here. That's what makes you a disciplined person. So, yeah, this is quite interesting, actually. This kind of links in with the gaming thing. So, the gaming is proving to be a distraction now, but it's also it's proven that I'm very disciplined. So what I did was I started playing video games again in, I think it was November, and I said it was an experiment and I'm going to see what happened. And I gave myself a year, and I said if it was too much, if I couldn't find balance playing these video games, I was going to basically get rid of them, and that would be it for good. I always say never, but I knew it would feel like getting rid of them. So I've been trying to play video games and also do all these other things. So I've proven that I'm disciplined because I've been able to just play video games on Saturday, and every other day I've not even touched the video games. So I've proven I've got discipline, but it's still proven a distraction. So one thing is, I think because the system is sat right next to my art desk, I feel like maybe it's physically distracting. So even though I'm not playing them during the week, still sort of aware of the system. But the thing is, I've kind of got to put it there because I've got nowhere else to put it really. So that's quite interesting. I think you can be a disciplined person, but you can also be distracted. That's quite interesting. That I just thought about that. But it says here, I came across this topic online in a friend's WhatsApp status. Starving your distractions, feeding your focus, and attaining maximum success. It kept me thinking, what does it mean to starve your distractions? This is a little bit that I read and I thought I like this. It's got the word in bold is called distractions, and it says, according to Wikipedia, distractions is the process of diverting the attention of an individual or group from a desired area or focus. Yeah, and then it says desired area or focus. These are the feelings that impel one to the attainment or possession of something. Anything or anyone that tries to divert one's attention from things that helps you maintain your possession is a distraction. It's quite interesting, this. There's two things here. One thing is, you can look at the video games as a distraction from drawing and studying, but I'm also thinking about meditating. The mind is a distraction. So you're meditating and you're trying to just be at peace, I suppose, with all the thoughts and stuff. But these thoughts are distracting. But what Muji says, again, I linked to Muji in the show notes. Muji, this like spiritual masterman, that's quite funny. This is amazing. Muji is. He keeps it simple, which I love. But he's basically saying that the thoughts are like clouds passing in the sky. But the thing is, if you focus on those clouds, this is amazing. If you look up at the sky and you look at this, if you've got a sky with some clouds, if you look at the sky and all you want to see the blue sky, but all these clouds are distracting you. If there's a little bit of blue sky there, you choose what to focus on. So you can choose whether to focus on the sky or the clouds. But the thing is, when there's so many clouds, it's much harder to focus on the little bit of blue. So that's the thing, like, I guess you have to, this is what it's all about. Starving your distractions. It's like, basically, if you focus on that blue of the sky, it's almost like, I imagine in the end, the blue will become bigger. Even if it doesn't actually physically become bigger, it would become bigger to you because that's all you're focusing on. So if you're only focusing on the blue of the sky, you would, before you know it, you would forget about the clouds. That's quite cool, that. So like when you're meditating, you have to do the same thing as, like this week for my meditations, it's been terrible. I've got to talk about that as well. I'm going to write this down. So on Friday night, I had a lucid dream, and it's very telling to me that ever since then, I've been super distracted, and I feel like what's happened is, in that lucid dream, it was quite, I was like facing a fear, and I felt, when I came out of that, I felt like I'd made some proper progress, but then ever since then I've been distracted. So I wonder whether what's happened is, because again the subconscious mind is playing tricks on us. I wonder what's happened is I've become distracted by, or I'm thinking I'm distracted by these video games, whereas maybe I'm not. But what it's doing is, I've got to plug my little Surface in. What it's doing is, I'm going to have to pause the video because the Surface is going to run out of battery in a minute. We are back. So actually, the reason the battery is nearly dying on this Surface, on my computer, is because last night I was distracted by something else, which it meant I didn't have my Surface plugged in, but I was distracted by it, and I've forgotten to plug it in. This is what the thing with distractions. The thing with the distractions is it seems to snowball. So like, it's quite mental, this is. But it just shows, it really shows me how if you get distracted by something, everything's linked to each other. So like, what happened was it's really weird. So I started thinking I'm distracted by these video games, so I'm gonna get rid of the video games. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this, because what I was always gonna get it, and I can just get it a little bit earlier now, is this drawing tablet, which I can connect to the computer. So then I'll become distracted by looking at these drawing tablets. And then what happened was I found a little computer, a cheap computer, so I got that, but last night I was distracted by it because I was trying to update it and I've been having errors with it. So, like yesterday I got distracted by that, which meant I went to bed super late, so I only had like 4 hours sleep last night. So yeah, by being distracted by that, I didn't meditate yesterday. I meditated for 30 minutes the day before, and normally I do an hour every day. So like, what I've noticed is everything starts falling apart for me at least, when I lose my structure and routines. It's like a domino effect. Everything starts to crumble, really. So that's basically what I'm going through at the minute. It's mental. It's mentally, my mind's all over the place. But also in this room as well, if you was to look behind the camera, if you could see the other side, it's everything's everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. My mind is a mess and the room is a mess. So that's because I feel like it's because I got distracted. But I'm going to get my focus back and get back to this article. So it said, oh, but I do want to talk about that lucid dream. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is it possible, and I think it is, that what's happened is the mind realises that dream is so important. Because what happened in this lucid dream was, I've been trying to go find this entity. So there's this entity in my dream. I'm going to talk about this in more detail in this month's About the Things episode, which will be the last Sunday of the month. But in this dream, I found this entity, and as I was going towards it, this thing came up and it started trying to distract me from going towards the entity, but I ignored the distraction in the dream, and then it started being really negative, but I just kept going. And then unfortunately the fear was so much that I woke myself up. But once I woke up, I thought, wow, I was able to stay focused in heading towards this entity, which I feel like it's going to be a fear. It's like a lot of fear involved. But then as soon as I woke up, the next day, which was a Saturday, I was playing video games because it was my gaming day, and I was playing this game, and nothing was like really satisfying me. And then at the end of that day, I just felt really unsatisfied, I suppose. And then I just thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play video games anymore. But I haven't done anything at the minute because I said I'm just going to leave it for a week or something. And if I'm still feeling like this next week, then I'll do something. But what I think happens is the subconscious, the mind, sometimes it can actually, if it realises, because if I go towards that fear, I reckon when I wake up, I'm going to have gotten over a lot of fears in my waking state. The mind knows that, and the mind wants to. There's this part of your mind that wants to keep limiting you for some reason. That part of the mind, it knows. Sometimes I feel like it knows more than you know. So it knows that if I have another lucid dream like that, and I get towards the entity, next time I know I will stay there. Even if I get scared, I will stay there. So it knows that if that happens, it's potentially gonna disappear. That negative part of me is potentially gonna, I suppose you could say, lose the battle. So it's now thinking, right, what can we do? Let's make it so distracted that it doesn't meditate. It starts lacking sleep, which is me. I stop meditating, I stop lacking sleep, which means that basically if you're lacking sleep and you're not meditating, and you're going to limit the chances of having a lucid dream. So it's very complicated, but I can just tell that everything's all linked together. So the good thing is, at least I'm sort of aware of everything that's going on. But it's horrible being distracted by things, because I'm thinking about, like, I want this graphics tablet. So instead of being able to sit down and study, I'm thinking about this graphics tablet. I find it very difficult sometimes to let go of these thoughts. Yeah, I find it really hard sometimes. So that's basically what I'm going through at the minute. But I'm going to go back to this little article. So it says, running away from them. I'll have to go back to this a little bit. It says, desired area of focus. These are the feelings that impel one to the attainment or possession of something. Anything or anyone that tries to divert one's attention from things that helps you maintain your possessions is a distraction. Running away from them means starving them. Starve them until they're no longer hungry and taste for your focus or success. This sounds just like what I was saying. The mind, that negative bit of you, if you can, for instance, if you can say no, I'm gonna not be distracted by, this is it. How do you say I'm not going to be distracted by thinking about this, like, graphics tablet and stuff? I don't know. You just got to do it, I suppose. This is the difficult bit, but if you can do that, that part of you that is trying to make you think about these graphics tablets, you're going to starve it. Yeah, I like that. It's quite cool. So it says here, feeding your focus, and the description of that, it says, the things you focus on creates the world you experience. Focusing in positive things brings positive results and change. Feed your mind with inspirational quotes. We love that. Inspirational thoughts, positive thought, and most importantly, possibilities. A great way to get inspired to look for what is right. And it says down here, here are some secrets to success. This is a tiny little article, it's nearly finished now. It says, ... Always try, here are some secrets to success. Number 1, always try to improve yourself no matter the field you see yourself in. Learn to know new things every day, it helps a lot. Number 2, always seek for solutions rather than wasting time occupying your mind with problems. I like that. So just now, you could say that for that little couple of minutes, I was focusing my mind on the problem of how do you stop thinking about wanting to buy a graphics tablet. This is it. How do you stop? It's almost, the article says, seek solutions rather than wasting time occupying your mind with problems. Seek solutions. But in order to seek a solution, you first have to occupy your mind with the problem. Because if you don't know what the problem is, you can't find a solution. So there is some sort of, like, little loop thing going on there. I don't know how you're going to chop that off. Seek for solutions. Maybe just talking about it on a podcast is a solution. I don't know. Next one. Be willing to pay the price. Sacrifice. It doesn't say sacrifice, but that is sacrifice. Exactly. Maybe the price is that I have to stop playing video games. So difficult to know this one. If I stop playing video games, I will be more focused. I know that, and I know I can do it. I've proven that. The thing is, it's not whether I can do it, it's whether I should do it. Again, thinking too much. Always thinking too much. Be willing to pay the price. One thing I've definitely noticed is if you let's say you want to get really good at drawing. If you want to get really good at drawing, you're going to have to sacrifice stuff. And maybe what's going on here is I know deep in my heart I need to sacrifice video games, but maybe again it's that little voice of negativity or something. It's trying to make me cling on to it. Cling on. Austin Kleon. I don't know. Be willing to pay the price. I love that. I like that one. It's very simple, but it's got a lot of meaning in that, I think. Be willing to pay the price. The next one, stay away from distractions. Maintain a focus on your priorities. This goes into one of the little things I got written on my notes. Multiple devices. Stay away from distractions. What I do is, I've got, I think, 4 little devices, and each one is focused on certain things. So I've got a very old iPhone, and what that's got on it is it's got the internet, all my social media accounts, like Twitter and stuff, all my emails, and also I've got like some podcasts on it. Really, I've only got Above and Beyond trance music, and that's all that's on that. So that device is focused only on taking photos and then uploading them to Instagram. So Instagram and checking my emails. So what that means is if I want to sit down here and do some drawing, I can just throw that device over there, and I'm not going to be distracted by emails and stuff, but I can still have my Kindle, which is another little device, and all I've got on that is YouTube, so I can sit here drawing and play music and stuff off this other device, and there's no other stuff on that. So it's almost like that device is focused on music while I'm like drawing and my gesture drawings and stuff. This other device is focused on emails. I then got my Surface, my computer, which is focused on podcasts and videos and websites. Then what I've also done is I've bought a very super cheap Surface, another little computer. It was only 25 quid. It's amazing. And all that's going to be is all that's going to have is a website browser on it. So if I'm rendering a video on this computer, I can still do my studying. And then I've also got my iPad, which is just for sketching, like doing gesture drawings on. So what I've done is I've got each little device is separate, and it works really good for me. I really like it. And then I've also got another little device, which is my phone, and all that is my phone, my text messages, and that's my podcast. So I take that one to work, which means if I'm at work at the day job, I'm not going to be distracted by social media and something. When I'm at home, I can throw that phone over there, and I don't have to be distracted by text messages or something. So doing it like that, it's really easy you can say, right, if I've got 5 hours and I want to focus on studying, you can pick the device that is going to allow you to focus, and it works amazing, that does. So I really do like that. The only problem I've had is rendering videos takes like about 4 hours. Well, no, it doesn't. It takes about 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours to 4 hours. It does. Depends how long they are. Sometimes it takes an hour. So you're looking at about an hour to 4 hours. So if I want to render a video, and it's going to take 4 hours, that device is then out of action. And sometimes I'll sit down and I think I'm going to do some studying, and the device, I can't use it, and then I start thinking, oh, I won't do it then. So little things like that. So that's why I got that other device, which I think is really cool. The other thing it says here, stay away from distractions. This desk here, I've got 2 desks. One is my art desk, the other one is my computer desk, and the thing is, this art desk, nothing to do with computers is allowed on here, apart from when I'm doing the podcast. So when I do the podcast, I bring my computer onto here, so I can record, because this is the best angle that I can get, and it's the only reason I've done it. Otherwise I would record it on the other desk, but doing that again, it means when I'm sat here, it's almost like this is art space. When I'm sat over there, it's computer space. So if I'm working on a website, I'm over there. If I'm making videos, I'm over there. And if I'm drawing, I'm over here. So again, it goes back to that thing of like mental and physical linked together. If your physical space is focused, your mind is focused, but also if your mind isn't focused, it starts to, as I said, it starts to come into the physical space, because like over there it's messy. So again, my mind this week has been distracted, and it's started distracting the room physically. And it's quite weird that. Again, it just shows how everything's linked together. The next little thing here, it says be disciplined. And I do think discipline is a skill you can learn, and it because I always thought I'm not very disciplined, but again I just did little experiments, and so I'd say, right, today, even like those devices, having multiple devices, that's kind of you're disciplining yourself to stay away from social media and stuff like that for certain periods. And there's little tricks you can do to help yourself be disciplined. So like one of them is like have multiple devices. One of them is have a space dedicated to each task you want to do and stuff like that. So there are little tips and tricks really, and what I love about it is once you've proven to yourself that you're disciplined, even if like down the line you get distracted by something and you start to, maybe you do lose discipline for a minute, because you know that you can do it, you've always got that. So even like at the moment, I could say maybe this week I haven't been disciplined for my meditations and stuff. I know it's just a little phase that I'm going through and it'll pass, and because I know that I am disciplined, so it'll come back. And what's really good is, even though I've been completely all over the place at the minute, distracted and stuff, I have every day, first thing, I've done my little drawings for this draw a day challenge. So that again is almost like proving that you're disciplined. I would say one of the best ways to practice discipline is do an art challenge, because it doesn't matter whether you fail it by not completing it. Like that might be the first one you do and you don't manage to successfully complete it, just do another one. So say the first one, it's a 30-day challenge and you do 5 days, and then you can't stay disciplined. Or you say to yourself, well, I did 5 days, that's better than nothing. Next time I'm going to try and get 6 days, and then you just keep doing that, and in the end you'll be able to do it. That's what I've noticed. The next little thing here, it says always know what is value to you. I love that. That has been the biggest question this week really. I've been thinking video games, but the thing is I'm doing these little drawings and I'm doing loads of studying, but I know to get really good at creating these characters it's going to take a long time, but it's going to take even longer if I'm playing video games and stuff. So it's so confusing. Like I said, there's part of me that just wants to get rid of it and focus. And then there's other part of me that I was going to say a little bit scared to do it. I've got to think about it a little bit more, but I think the thing is, what is more important? Is it more important to get really good at drawing, or is it more important to play video games and maybe never get good at drawing? Or is it more important to sprinkle in the video games and get good at drawing? You'd get good at drawing in the end, I think, as long as you're studying. I don't know. It's interesting, but I do feel like everybody has got certain things that they are doing, which they, in the back of their mind, they know it's probably not the best thing. It's really confusing, this. I do need help with this one, because I can't work out whether video games are... Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really complicated whether video games are something I should have in my life or not. Because another thing is, I always knew that video games would come back into my life, so with my drawing and stuff. And I started thinking, what if they do come back in, but not me playing them? So for instance, there's no reason why I couldn't do an hour of drawing practice where all you're doing is drawing lines, and while you're doing it you could listen to people like doing a walkthrough of a video game, or you could just buy video game art books and never play video games. So what you're doing is you're still... Because the only reason I love video games is because of the characters. I love the characters and the stories and stuff. So what you could do is if you're buying art books of video games, you're still going to be getting inspired by the characters, but you're not going to be getting distracted by them. So, like, I've thought to myself, there is a way to have video games, or all the good things I like about video games, which is the characters and the story, without having all the bad things, which is the addiction to playing it. And because all the video games I love are Japanese role-playing games and stuff, and they take like 50 hours or something. That was the thing, on Saturday I was playing all these little different video games, and I kept thinking to myself, this is really good, but I'm going to have to sit here for like about 30 hours, and I'm going to be doing the same thing over and over. And I was thinking to myself, would it not be better to sit and play and like do some drawing for 30 hours? Because I thought, I put myself into the future and I said, 30 hours time, I've completed this video game, so what? All I've got is, I've got a little story in my head of a video game that I played. But that same 30 hours, I could have done so much on the website. So, again, like he says here, what is value to you? And I think that's a good thing to do, actually, is put yourself into the future and imagine that you've spent, 100 hours playing a video game, when that 100 hours could have been spent doing something on a website. What's more important? But then you've got to balance that with balance, because yes, maybe focusing on a website would be amazing because you'd have this website stuff, but then if you haven't been but this is what I said, I was going to say, if you haven't been consuming the video game, you're going to be missing that sort of the fun of the story and stuff. But this is why I said you can work on a website, but have somebody in the background playing the video game, or even somebody doing like a 20-minute synopsis of the story of that video game. So that way, you're going to get the focus and achieve what you want to, but you're also going to get the fun of the story. You're going to have the story without having to play it. Yeah, I think there's something going on here where I think there's a way to get it all together. So you have got to think about it though. So the next little thing here, it says, surround yourself with positive thinking people, not the ones that kill vibes. Super important. And actually, at one of my little day jobs, that's something I had to do. There was somebody there who was quite negative, and I felt guilty for not talking to them, because I've always felt like if you have to talk to everyone. I always thought, so if somebody is negative and it's starting to affect you, I've always thought, well, I've just got to keep talking to them because it's not very nice to not talk to them. And then a load of things happened, and it made me realise it was actually my Reiki healer. She made me realise again, the mind can twist things up to make things that are positive seem as if they're negative, to stop you doing something that's actually positive. And then, so what I realised was that it was actually a positive thing to stop talking to that person. It's not that I don't talk to them, it's just I'm not going over to them to talk to them. If they come to talk to me, I would always be nice, and that's the thing. Just because you're not talking to somebody, because you're choosing not to be around somebody, doesn't mean you're being horrible. You can still be nice. And that was the thing. I had to separate that and realise that you can do something that looks part of my mind wants to say it's not very nice, which is not being around somebody, but it's actually a positive thing, and you can do it in a nice way. You don't have to ever be horrible to somebody, because like one way you could do is you could say to them, you could start being negative yourself, and that's just not good then. So as long as you haven't been horrible, there's nothing wrong with not being around somebody who is negative, really. So that's one of the main things I've learned, and that was a massive thing. And I felt quite guilty for a moment. For weeks and weeks, I felt guilty because I thought, what are they going to think? Are they going to think I don't like them? And then I thought to myself, well, hang on a minute, it's making me feel negative. Well, I was going to say it's negative, and no matter how positive I was being, because my Reiki healer, she said, have a positive bubble around you. But no matter what I did, I just could not help but get the negativity, the vibes of that negative started to come into me. And the only thing I could do was detach from it, really. So that has been massive, really. Yeah, it's very important who you're surrounded by, really, I think. That's quite interesting. The next thing here, it says, always be a fighter, never believe in giving up. Again, this goes into that thing about bringing these video games back in is like an experiment. Yeah, there's always a way. So, but like I say, if you make a decision and it ends up not going the way you think, then will you just change? So you just do another experiment and change and see where that goes. So like, what you don't want to do is do something, it goes into a negative place, and then just quit. You don't want to do that, because there's always a way to get there. So it says, always be a fighter, never believe in giving up. I like that. Choose a career that your heart suits. Well, for me it's drawing. So I have to focus on this drawing. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to focus. Yeah, but my heart wants the video games as well. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's definitely going to be bringing video game characters in via art books and without playing them. I think I've learnt something really good here, which is that it's not the playing of the video games that I want. It's just the characters, and you can get that without playing them. So I'm beginning to feel like I've made a decision where I'm going to let go of these video games. I think it says here, lastly on the list, but the most important. Oh, I love this. I didn't realise it was going to go in this direction. It says, always pray to God, because only Him can help you attain a great height in success. What a beautiful way to end this article. I've got a little thing with God. I don't like the word God, because I feel like when you think of God, I seem to think of a being, like a person. And to me, God to me is like a universe. So God to me isn't really a person, it's just everything. So I don't like the word God, because I think it's been changed into a physical thing. So I like to say universe. So I would say, always pray to the universe, because only the universe can help you attain a great height in success. And that's it. And it says at the bottom, I believe with this little write-up of mine, you can be able to starve that distraction, feed your focus, and always achieve great success. That's amazing. I love this. I hope you got something out of this. I feel like I've got quite a lot out of this. Yeah, but I've still got a lot to focus on. I need to meditate. That's what I need to do. I need to just meditate and focus on that. I can tell that. There's one little thing that I haven't talked about yet, and that is the word association. So I put that in my little notes. Something I noticed was and this happened about 3 weeks ago, I think. So it's been about 4 months that I've been able to keep only playing video games on a Saturday. But what I noticed was, in the old days when I was playing video games every day, all the time, I associated playing video games with eating chocolate biscuits and stuff. And what happened was, about a month ago, I allowed myself to eat a packet of chocolate biscuits whilst I was playing games. And then the next thing I knew, it became every Saturday I had to eat chocolate biscuits. And then it got to a point where I bought 2 packets of chocolate biscuits, and I thought, oh, this is not good here. So what I noticed was that things that you do, they're associated with other things. So like, those video games are associated with chocolate biscuits, and I don't want to be eating chocolate biscuits either. So there's something in that as well, is like, that almost to me kind of goes into this thing about positive people. Is like I said before, everything's linked to everything else. So if you allow one thing to come and it's very sneaky the way the mind works, the mind will let things in a way that it looks like it's positive, and then once you're hooked on it, and it's become a habit, which is playing video games every Saturday for me, once you're hooked on it, it then starts bringing in all these other little things. And then, so I put myself into the future, and I imagined, like a year in the future, I'm sitting here every Saturday playing video games, eating chocolate biscuits, eating loads of chocolate. Yeah, and the next thing, and then not doing meditations on Saturday, going to bed late on Saturday. And I just thought, no. Yeah, I thought, I'm not having that. Not on my watch. So, nip it in the bud, basically. And I think what's happened is, this little experiment I did, which was seeing if I could find balance by bringing video games back in, I would say it has proven, at the moment, no, I can't seem to do it at the moment. Maybe 5 years in the future, when I'm really good at drawing characters and I don't need to be studying as much, maybe then I can bring them back in, but even then I don't think I will. And again, like what I said earlier, in 2015 I think, I stopped playing video games for about, I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years, and I never thought about them at all. So again, I know I can be without them. But what happened was, there's a video game called Gran Turismo, which is a racing game. It's my all-time favourite video game, and that got released. Or I knew it had come out, and again, that little thought of Gran Turismo popped into my head, and it was just eating away at me. Yeah, and instead of starving it, I fed it by allowing myself to play Gran Turismo. And again, it was very sneaky, because what it did was, the mind said, well, buy this old system, which is really cheap, so you don't have to spend much money, and get the old Gran Turismo, and that'd be good enough. So I got that, and then the next thing I knew, I ended up getting the next, like the PS4, with the new Gran Turismo. So again, yeah, it goes into something else. There was a podcast I did before about addictions, and the way I've noticed to stop addictions is to stop the addiction before the point where you're addicted. So like, if you're addicted to buying something, you got to work backwards and stop yourself going into the shop, so that you haven't got the option of being addicted. So what I should have done was, there was a point when I could have said, no, I'm not going to buy that PS3 with Gran Turismo, because the thing is, sometimes you need to do it in order to realise what's going on. Because like now, in the future, let's say a new Gran Turismo comes out on the PS5, I might get a thought in my head, if I've stopped playing video games, there might be a thought in my head that says, go and buy a PS4 with Gran Turismo. But I would now be able to say, no, I've done this before, and I know what happens. Yeah, again, so sometimes you do actually have to experience all of this madness in order to get to a point where you get this balance. It's crazy. I kind of like it though. I know it sounds weird. I kind of like it, because what happens is, like even now, I can tell that I'm making progress. So even though my mind is like a tsunami, as Muji says, my mind is going crazy, thoughts all over the place, I can there's part of me that can feel progress. It can feel the progress happening. So maybe it is that the only way to get to this balance point is to go completely crazy for a bit. It'd be quite interesting, that. Little Dennis, I can hear him saying he's had enough of this one. So that's the end of this little podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and you can find show notes and everything at sophielawson.com. I am starting to work on the website again, because I've just managed to get a little bit of time to start working on it, so that's quite exciting. And you can also find videos at youtube.com/sophielawson. There is actually another, this is quite funny, look, there's an art book here, which again it's got a beautiful cover and stuff, but it says here, character character design course for video games. So there you go. I know what's going on here. I can tell in the future I'm probably going to be creating video game characters. I reckon I'm going to be creating video game characters, and I feel like I need to be playing video game characters. But I'm starting to realise that, yeah, you can create video game characters without having to play them. It's separating my love of video game characters away from thinking that you need to play the video games, because I feel like the video game characters are separate from the actual playing of the games. I think I'm starting to realise that. So it's quite exciting. As long as I replace playing video games with, consuming myself with video game characters, it will still influence my art. So it will all come together in the end, I think, which would be nice. That's basically it. So this week's little inspirational quote, I love this, and it's actually from an anonymous author, and the inspirational quote is, "Starve your distractions, feed your focus." Starve your distractions, feed your focus. And that's an anonymous.